Welcome back to AFT Dice Season 3. It is round 17. It's the last round before the finals. Let's kick it off with Adelaide versus Bulldogs at Adelaide Oval. Let's go to the first quarter. First quarter is nearly done. And the first quarter is done. It is Adelaide Crows 5-2, 32 to the Bulldogs 4-5, 29. Let's go to the second quarter for the Adelaide Crows and Western Bulldogs. Let's go to the second quarter. And the second quarter, Adelaide Crows kicking 1-1 to the Western Bulldogs 1-3. And at halftime, Adelaide Crows are leading by 1 point. All right, let's go to the third quarter. Third quarter's nearly done. Okay, the third quarter's done. Adelaide kicking 1-4 to the Bulldogs 2-2. And at three-quarter time, the Bulldogs are in front by 3 points. Let's go to the last quarter. And the last quarter, Adelaide Crows kicking 4-5 to the Bulldogs 1-4. And in the end, Adelaide have won this game by 16 points. The final scores, Adelaide Crows 11-12, 78 to the Bulldogs 8-14, 62. Let's go to the second game. It's Port Adelaide versus Fremantle at Adelaide Oval. This is pretty much for top spots. Now, Port Adelaide kicking 2-5, 17 in the first quarter to Fremantle 6-3, 39. And let's go to the second quarter. Adelaide have pushed Brisbane out of the 8 at the moment. We've got Port Adelaide kicking 3-4 to the Fremantle Dockers 4-4. And at halftime, we've got the Dockers in front by 28 points. All right, let's go to the third quarter of this game. And the third quarter, Port Adelaide kicking 1-3 to Fremantle 6-5. And Port Adelaide 6-12, 48 to Fremantle 16-12, 108. Let's go to the last quarter of this game. Last quarter's done. Port Adelaide kicking 4-2 to 3-3 Fremantle. And in the end, Freo have won this game by 55 points. Port Adelaide final score 10-14, 74 to Fremantle 19-15, 129. All right, let's go to the third game. It's Collingwood versus Richmond at the MCG. And Collingwood kicking 3-4 to Richmond 3-5. And at quarter time, Richmond are leading by 1 point. All right, let's go to the second quarter. Fremantle beating Port Adelaide, putting them third on the ladder, and Port Adelaide fourth. All right, second quarter's done. Collingwood kicking 1-3 to Richmond 2-4. And at halftime, Richmond are leading by 8 points. Let's go to the third quarter. And the third quarter's done. Collingwood's kicked 3-6 to Richmond 2-6. And at three-quarter time, Richmond are leading by 2 points. All right, let's go to the last quarter of this game. And Collingwood kicking 5-1 to Richmond 4-3. And Collingwood have won this game by 2 points. Collingwood final score 12-14, 86 to Richmond 11-18, 84. All right, let's go to the fourth game of the round. It's St Kilda versus GWS. It's the top two sides. And whoever wins this game will be on top with minor premiers. So St Kilda kicking 1-2 to Giants 3-3 at quarter time. All right, let's go to the second quarter. Second quarter. It's very even. St Kilda kicking 3-6 to GWS 3-6. And at halftime, GWS are leading by 13 points. Let's go to the third quarter. And the third quarter's done. St Kilda kicking 1-3 to GWS 3-3. And at three-quarter time, GWS are leading by 25 points. Let's go to the last quarter of this game. And St Kilda kicking 5-1 to GWS 4-6. And GWS in the end have won this game by 4 goals. St Kilda final score 10-12, 72 to GWS 13-18, 96. Let's go to the next game. It's Hawthorn versus Geelong at Marvel Stadium. And at quarter time, Hawthorn kicking 1-4 to Geelong 4-2. All right. Let's go to this second quarter. GWS minor premiers for season 3. Hawthorn kicking 6-2 to Geelong 1-5. And at halftime, Hawthorn are leading by 11 points. Let's go to the third quarter. Third quarter, pretty even. Hawthorn kicking 6-5 to Geelong 6-1. And at three-quarter time, Hawthorn are leading by 15 points. Let's go to the last quarter of this game. And Hawthorn kicking 6-1 to Geelong 2-4. And in the end, Hawthorn have won this game by 6 goals. Final scores, Hawthorn 19-12, 126 to Geelong 13-12, 90. All right, let's go to the next game. It's the Q Clash, Gold Coast versus Brisbane Lions at Metricon Stadium. And at quarter time, Gold Coast kicking 2-5 to Brisbane 4-1. Let's go to the second quarter. Second quarter, Gold Coast 2-5 and Brisbane kicking 5-3. And at halftime, Brisbane are leading by 24 points. All right, let's go to the third quarter of this game. Third quarter, Gold Coast kicking 3-3 to Brisbane 4-1. And at three-quarter time, Gold Coast are trailing by 28 points. Let's go to the last quarter of this game. And Gold Coast kicking 2-1 to Brisbane 6-6. And in the end, Brisbane Lions have won by 57 points. Final scores, Gold Coast 9-14, 68 to Brisbane 19-11, 125. Let's go to the next game. It's Carlton versus Essendon. And Carlton kicking 4-4 to Essendon 3-3. Let's go to the second quarter. Brisbane now in 6th spot, and they're secure for a finals berth. All right, Carlton kicking 4-5 to Essendon 1-6. And at halftime, Carlton are leading by 24 points. All right, third quarter. Carlton kicking 1-2 to Essendon 2-2. And at three-quarter time, Carlton are leading by 18 points. All right, let's go to the last quarter. And the last quarter's done. Carlton kicking 5-5 to Essendon 2-2. And Carlton winning by 39 points. The final scores, Carlton 14-16, 100 to Essendon 8-13, 61. All right, let's go to the second last game of the home and away season. It's West Coast versus Sydney. And West Coast kicking 1-4 to Sydney 4-4. All right, second quarter. Second quarter's done. And West Coast kicking 1-1 to Sydney 4-5. And at halftime, Sydney are leading by 40 points. All right. West Coast kicking 1-4 to Sydney 3-3. And at three-quarter time, Sydney are leading by 51 points. All right. Let's go to the last quarter of this game. And West Coast kicking 6-4 to Sydney 5-6. And final scores, West Coast 9-13-67 to Sydney 16 goals 18-1-14. And Sydney winning by 47 points. All right, let's go to the last game of the home and away season. It's North Melbourne versus Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. And North Melbourne kicking 1 goal 2 to Melbourne 4 goals 6. And at quarter time, Melbourne are leading by 22 points. All right. Second quarter, very even. North Melbourne kicking 4 goals 1 to Melbourne 4-2. And at half time, Melbourne are leading by 23 points. All right. Third quarter has been done. North Melbourne kicking 5 goals 6 to Melbourne 1-5. And at 3-quarter time, North Melbourne have gained the lead back by 2 points. All right. Last quarter of the home and away season. And very even, 4 goals 2 apiece. And in the end, North Melbourne have got this win. The final scores, North Melbourne 14-11-95 to Melbourne 13-15-93. And that concludes the home and away season for Dice Season 3. And the finals, the final 8 teams are GWS, St Kilda, North Melbourne, and Sydney rounding out the top 4. And then we've got Fremantle in 5th, Port Adelaide in 6th, Brisbane in 7th, and Richmond in 8th spot. Beat Adelaide, getting that 8th spot on percentage. All right, let's go to the finals table. The road to premiership. And the road to premiership, we've got the first qualifying final, GWS Giants versus Fremantle. The first elimination final, we've got Port Adelaide and Richmond. Second elimination final, North Melbourne versus Brisbane. And St Kilda. Well, let's do a refresh. That doesn't seem to be right. All right, now it looks a little bit better. First qualifying final, we've got GWS versus Sydney. First elimination final, we've got Fremantle versus Richmond. Second elimination final, we've got Port Adelaide versus Brisbane Lions. And then the second qualifying final, we've got St Kilda versus North Melbourne. All right, that concludes the home and away season for AFT Dice Season 3. We'll see you in the first week of the finals.